What's up everyone, Darcblade here with the next episode in my series of Mass Effect 3 multiplayer character guides. Today we're going to be talking about the Krogan Soldier, a brute of a class capable of doing high melee damage. It comes with useful tools that any team attempting gold and silver can use as well. It has high health, high shields, and is a good candidate for drawing fire away from your other teammates. Now, as always, I spec my characters for silver and gold mode. I max out fortification, aiming specifically at damage reduction rather than melee power. I must confess I would change it and put the power reduction penalty down, if I could get a reset card. I max out Carnage, as Carnage is always readily available. I spec it out for max damage rather than radius or recharge timer. I do this rather than putting many points into Inferno Grenades, as Carnage is always readily available, like I said, and Inferno Grenades you have to be near an ammo box. The two passive abilities of the Krogan are down to preference. I personally like to max out fitness for health and shields rather than melee, because in gold mode the melee is less useful, I find. It's okay for crowd control. And as for Krogan Berserker, I spec'd it out. I would max it out and maybe completely forget Inferno Grenades. But I want to show you the Inferno Grenades in this video, so I've spec'd the last 3 points that I would put into the Krogan Berserker into Inferno Grenades instead. Now, as with all soldiers, the Krogan Soldier is no exception to being good with pretty much any type of weapon you give him. Although, that being said, you don't want to weigh him down too much. You don't want him with a minus 200% power reduction time, as Carnage is quite useful for the Krogan Soldier, I find. I personally like to use the shotguns with my Krogan, either the Claymore if I'm willing to put up with the slow reload time of that gun, or like here I use the Geth plasma shotgun. But that being said, the Krogan Soldier would probably shine through with whatever type of weapon you give him. An assault rifle, he'll probably kick some butt. The only weapon I might go against is the sniper rifle. This is because the Krogan is a big, strong character capable of directing fire away from your weaker teammates. And if you do have a sniper rifle, you're going to be at the back of the group not doing this. But this is a personal preference. You might disagree, which is fine. Now, normally I would talk about the first power each character has, with the Krogan being fortification, but I'm going to talk about his second power first, which is Carnage. Carnage is a high-powered shot that rips apart enemies when it hits them. It does good damage to armor. It has a nice little default AoE effect as well. This can be increased by speccing into it, but it already comes with a nice little AoE, area of effect blast, so I don't feel the need to. Lastly, it can be spec'd to knock down enemies. This provides the Krogan Soldier with a little form of crowd control to knock back smaller targets. As I mentioned when I was talking about the spec I use as well, Carnage can be used repeatedly, whilst Inferno Grenades are limited to where the ammo boxes are. Also, in the higher difficulties, replenishing these grenades is slightly more annoying mid-fight. So I went with Carnage over Inferno Grenades. Inferno Grenades in themselves are not a bad grenade type. They bear various similarities to the incinerate ability that some of the engineers have. So it puts a little damage over time on enemies as they burn away from the effects of the grenade, which is always great. I also find using the grenades against the armored targets is an ideal situation in which these grenades can really shine. Now, as I said before, whilst Carnage is readily available, these Inferno Grenades require you to resupply often. If your team do fight next to an ammo box, then these grenades might be superior to Carnage if you can refill your supply of them really quickly and quite often. Now, going back to fortification, the Krogan Soldier's first power, it's a shield that envelops the Krogan Soldier, protecting him from damage and increasing his melee capabilities. But this comes at a cost of increasing your power recharge time. This can be compensated a little bit by speccing to make the power cooldown time a little bit less. As for whether you should spec into damage reduction or melee damage, I choose damage reduction, especially on the harder difficulties, as melee kills are less likely to happen on gold. If you're just playing bronze, maybe go into melee, as you will probably dominate a lot more. Now, the Krogan Soldier is an alien race. It does not function the same as the human classes out there. For example, the Krogan Soldier has decreased mobility. It can't roll and get out of the way of fire and other incoming projectiles. This is a hindrance and one of the bad reasons to play the Krogan. But there are many good reasons. As I've already mentioned, the Krogan has high health and high shields, higher than any of the other races out there at the moment. They also have a very unique melee ability. They have a move called the Krogan Charge, where they run at people, knocking them flying with their, well, that move there.
Damn!
That is their power attack. Their standing melee is a strong headbutt, which they use their Kaichin armor or whatever it is on their foreheads to just headbutt enemies, knocking them senseless. The Krogan also come with a very cool and very unique function in the way they work. It's called Rage Mode, Krogan Rage. Once you get 3 melee kills in a row in a short time together, the screen will become saturated, indicating that your Krogan has become enraged. During this time, your Krogan becomes a lot more stronger in melee, and it can also take more damage now. This function is a very attractive reason to play a Krogan, but I have to issue a warning about this because this is so easy and so great to get in silver and bronze modes. But in gold mode it comes at a great risk, as getting melee kills is a lot tougher, especially in the later waves, as the enemies are stronger and more powerful. Also, you have to watch out for the one-hit kill enemies that some of these troop types have. I've seen many a new player run into a Phantom or a Banshee trying to get that third melee kill just to be picked up or stabbed through the chest, because the Krogans are not immune to one-hit kills. That being said, the Krogan melee system is good on gold in terms of crowd controlling. If you set up a defensive position, the Krogan can watch the flanks. Any enemies that come into this area can quickly be knocked out the way by the Krogan Soldier. So I consider the Krogan as a good team player in terms of protecting the flank, drawing fire because of its high health. A rotation I like to use with the Krogan Soldier is to fire Carnage whilst my plasma shotgun has been charged up. After Carnage has been fired, fire the shotgun, throw a grenade, and then you should be able to rinse and repeat. I find this combination works quite well. But anyway, summarising, the Krogan Soldier is a great tank class, really good at melee, high health, high shields, good at watching a team's flank, can dominate in the lower difficulties. Carnage can be spec'd to knock down enemies, controlling them a little bit, which is great on the higher difficulties. Inferno Grenades is an option, up to you, as well as the fortification, whether you want to go for damage reduction or more melee damage. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and guide to the Krogan Soldier. I've been Darcblade, subscribe and like for more.